What's up, everybody? Welcome to YOOHOO. I'm joined today by Isaac Gartenberg. This is a fun episode. I want you guys to please rate, view, subscribe. And I hate when people say that and when I'm watching podcasts, so don't hold it against me. But thank you guys for watching the show. Please subscribe and enjoy the episode. YOOHOO. Ready?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to talk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's show, YOOHOO. I am Tom Zappia, your host. Thank you guys for joining us. Today I'm joined by my good friend Isaac Gartenberg of New York City, another stand-up comedian, and he has a pretty hot take to bring to the table today, so we haven't discussed this topic yet, fortunately, surprisingly, but I think he feels pretty strongly about it. Isaac, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
He's a little under the weather, so...
No, I control the weather.
He's actually not lying. Thanks for joining the show, buddy. Basically,
Absolutely.
The way you're episode number 4. So basically, the way we've been doing it is kind of just an organic discussion about a couple topics. Some people focused on one topic over the other that maybe, again, conspiracy theme, just some kind of weird unsolved things, or just people, topics that people are skeptical about it. I've given you the rundown about how the show works, and you came out of the gate with a very big topic that I've been waiting to discuss. You're only like the second or third guy who's brought up a topic like this, because I feel like this is a pretty popular one, controversial one. But yeah, basically we're just bullshit, and you kind of explain to me what you think or why you think that, and we'll make it funny, because I know multiple people who, I don't know if they're actually these tinfoil hat weirdos, but they genuinely don't think that we went to the moon.
Well, I'm not an expert. I'm just a hobbyist. I don't really know anything, but yeah, we could have gone. I'll tell you that. It's possible. Do I think we went? I don't think so, but it's possible.
Well, funny enough, Isaac sent me a PowerPoint that for some reason he made up himself to, I guess, present to some classmates or coworkers.
No, this was at work.
This was at his job.
Yeah, my first job after college.
So how'd this work? Like, you brought up this topic one day, and they were like, get out of here.
Well, basically, we used to do these, like, presentations on Friday.
Right.
Like, it was supposed to be on, like, business. But yeah, we used to do, like, these Friday, it's a chill day.
Like a fun exercise?
Like we're going to, like, present on, like, a company that we're, like, looking at or whatever. But I used to just to mess with my coworkers, I told them that we didn't go to the moon. Mm-hmm. And then once you kind of start doing that research, there's really not much on the internet that says we did go to the moon.
Really?
So yeah, everything on the internet says we didn't go. So I was just like messing with my coworkers, telling them that, and they're like, "All right, you gotta tell us what this is about." So I made this presentation, and I think did I convince anybody? Probably not. But did I make people think? Oh yeah.
Well, it is very detailed and some pretty good graphics, honestly. Now, I've been told on multiple occasions by people. I mean, I'm sure most of the time they're being sarcastic or whatever, joking around. They're like, "We didn't go to the moon," and most people think it is fascinating that I guess we went, very close to each other in like 1968 or 69, and then we haven't been since.
It was like 69 to 72. We went a
couple times, and then nothing since.
We've never been back. We haven't even gone out of orbit since then.
Interesting. But what makes you believe in this one heavily? Just researching and finding how there's not much to be able to prove that we actually did?
Well, all right. If I
could go through the PowerPoint,
if I
honestly.
say to my dad, we never went to the moon, he'd be like, yeah, I saw it. It was on TV.
Right.
It's like, all right, you saw it on TV? That's how you know we went? That doesn't really convince me.
Especially TV in the late 60s.
I've seen a lot of things on TV. You know what?
What?
I don't believe it all.
I guess that's a good reason.
I saw a woman fall in love with a poor man.
Who?
I don't know. Oh. Probably a movie.
Well, a lot of people that I've heard as a, I guess, component of this argument is that whatever he said, when we first landed on the moon, the one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, or whatever. That
allegedly.
Line? Yeah, exactly. Allegedly, people be like, if I just landed on the moon, I ain't gonna say that. And also, they think that the flag, I guess we put a flag down, right? That was like not possible to stick a flag in the ground of the moon, the surface of the moon or something. I don't know. There was like all these things where it's like, this is not whatever, this is not whatever. I'm like, yeah, but we televised it, and like obviously someone out there in space. So it's like, how do we prove that it's fake?
I don't think the burden's on I think you got to prove that it was real. I've never seen a flag on the moon. Have you?
Just on that famous photo or video.
Yeah? You hear Photoshop? The
Yeah,
government probably invented Photoshop in 1965.
I was going to say there's no Photoshop in 1968 or whatever it is.
I don't know what there is, but there's actually a picture in there that you could see that there was a picture from
Michael Collins?
Sure.
It's just black background.
That's space allegedly.
Oh, this is supposed to be them inside the rocket ship?
Well, yeah, it's like a picture of them training, then they just flipped it the other way and then
Oh, it's the same guy. I didn't even realize
same
that.
exact picture, they just flipped it.
Yeah. How did they get the footage? You could not go through X-ray machines at the airport with film because it would ruin it. With all the radiation in space seems suspicious. All of the original footage and telemetry data is missing. NASA employees looked for them in the early 2000s but could not find them. That's interesting if that's true.
Yeah, I actually meant to look that up again today because this PowerPoint is from 2018. So I meant to look that up. I looked up a bunch of this stuff again. But yeah, I meant to look that up again. But from what I did, that's what I'm saying. I did the research in 2018, and I haven't really thought about it since because no one brings it up. No one brings it up.
Sometimes you do bring it up as just in leisure conversation, and somebody will be like, that didn't happen.
I bring it up for fun.
Well, let's start from the top.
Yeah.
Motivation for a fake landing, okay? Because let's be honest. In the history of our country, I bet the moon landing is at the top of the list of like most, whatever, incredible things we've done as a nation, whatever you want to say, And besides freeing slaves, this is probably second. What? That's probably the greatest thing we've ever done as a nation. Shout out Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, no. I think I misheard you at first.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I've had people on here who might disagree with that. But listen, the space race.
Well, let me just say again.
Start from the top.
It's possible we went.
It's possible it happened, but there is some skepticism. It's like any other theory, conspiracy theory, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's highly likely we did it. It's highly likely just one person killed JFK, whatever the case may be. But then there's also,
you believe JFK died?
Oh, God, here we go. I did see his head fall off his body, so I'm assuming so.
That was actually Adobe Premiere.
Adobe Premiere 1963.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Motivation arose during the Cold War in order to achieve military dominance over the USSR. Because didn't some Russians go to the moon right after us? Or go to space?
They went to space. I think they went to space before us. And then we were like,
that whole time,
but we got to the moon, bitch.
Exactly. Like that whole time period with the Cold War, obviously, we were pitted against Russia without any actual violence. But like we always have to be on the lookout for them and do better than them. So I think that was part of the reason
there
why
was violence. I used to see Russians in Brooklyn just kick them in the face.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Cold War shit, bro.
Holy crap, dude.
1960, 1980. I was just kicking Russians left and right.
Putin and Trump are friends. Listen to me. Trump 2024.
Yeah, but they're not friends.
I know. I don't know anything. But Russians do scare me. I feel like they're the most calm, but also the most, like, they're the people who can, like, pop off at any moment and just kick the crap out of somebody.
It's part of their culture.
Especially when they're wearing, like, a jumpsuit, right? That's their big thing, like Adidas tracksuit, like a tracksuit.
Yeah.
There's a Russians mobsters wearing tracksuits.
I always thought you would look good in one of those.
Tracksuit?
Yeah.
What am I, Bobby Condon? Shout out Bobby. He could pull that off. I never had a tracksuit. I do have an Adidas track jacket, but I don't have the pants. But I think I could do it too.
Maybe I'm gonna get one.
I would just look too mobster though.
Yeah,
I feel like because I'm already as a.
I'm gonna order one right after this. Actually,
tracksuit. I think you had one.
Nah.
Oh. So listen, motivation for a fake landing. NASA needed to secure future funding and avoid additional humiliation following the Apollo 1 fire. See, I don't know any of this stuff because I'm just an ignoramus. And then the Vietnam War, the landing was used as a way to distract public from the unpopular war. That is interesting because that I could actually see.
Yeah, they're like, you don't like that we're all dying to Asians. We're better at science than them.
I don't know about
we got to the moon.
We did get to the moon, allegedly.
Exactly. Well, that's
so
why they.
There's actually good points. The motivation to kind of take people's minds, the American public's mind off of all the crap that's going on. Because the '60s was unbelievable. It was just civil rights riots, race riots. You had moon landing. You have war,
Cold War,
Vietnam War, Cold War. JFK gets assassinated. MLK gets assassinated. Malcolm X gets assassinated. Like, imagine living in the '60s is pretty wild. I should ask my grandma about this stuff. So I feel like there was a lot of negativity in the 60s, and then 1969 was kind of that breakout. Summer of Love, all the hippies came in. I guess, whatever, by the early 70s, I guess, I don't know when did the Vietnam War start in 68 or 69? I think it went to like 73.
No, it was before that.
Really?
Yeah, it was from at least '62 or '63.
Hang on.
Because my grandpa was in the Navy in '64.
Oh, gee, I didn't know it was 20 years.
Yeah, it was a long time.
1955 to 1975. Holy crap. With I guess, the 60s being the height of it, and the early 70s. Communist government. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad reason, honestly, to take somebody's mind off that, because the Vietnam War was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, hey, all war's horrible.
Okay. Listen, how did they get the footage? You cannot go through the X-ray machines at the airport with film because it would ruin it. With all the radiation in space, seems suspicious. I don't know how space works with the air, with all whatever. Aren't you like 100 pounds lighter in space, or what is it?
I don't know, but if you are, I got nothing.
I feel like filming in space is going to be tough.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I actually think you can probably put film through an X-ray. I may have taken some creative liberties with that. But yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to get. You got to go through, like, all the radiation.
Right.
So, come on.
And it's
Give me a break.
How long does it take to get out to space? Like a couple months?
To get to space, it takes a lot of gas.
3 days. Never mind.
3 days to get to the moon? That's it?
Takes about 3 days for a spacecraft to reach the moon.
I don't buy it.
During the time the spacecraft travels at least 240,000 miles, which is the distance between Earth and the moon. That's crazy. Here to LA is 3,000 miles.
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
Here to LA 7 times, 3 days.
That's crazy, bro. I would be horrified to go to space.
Would you ever go?
I don't think so. Too much could go wrong, especially since we haven't done it in like whatever.
Especially what?
Since we haven't done it in like 50 years, like I'd be horrified. It's like the people
Yeah.
who went on the
that submarine?
Yeah, the Titanic thing. What was it called?
The Titanic was a boat.
But they were going to see the Titanic ruins.
Yeah, the submarine.
I just I have no interest in going to that deep in the sea or that far into space. It's too much can go wrong.
Same. The furthest I'll go is New Jersey.
The furthest I'll go is actually New Jersey. Titan submersible. That's it. The Titan submersible implosion. Yeah, dude. See stuff like that, and people think that's conspiracy theory because obviously there's all these crazy nut jobs out there. But like, obviously there were wealthy billionaires who were going on that thing. But who in their right mind? What's crazy to me is that they did that trip like 7 times and successfully.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then that one, obviously it went wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently they just found human remains recently.
No way.
Yeah. But my thing is, dude, you have to be a billionaire to want to do that, like, because you have to have ran out of things to do. Like, you have to be so bored to risk that much. Like, I would not even consider doing that. Even if you paid me, maybe for the right dollar amount. Like, for the right dollar amount, would you have gone down on that thing?
Whatever the right dollar amount is, but also I don't know, because I'd be freaking out the whole time.
Exactly, me too. But that's my point. One billionaire went with his kid.
Yeah,
his like 24-year-old kid. I'm like, how are you not like incredibly anxious and freaking out like the entire trip down?
Yeah,
there?
I wouldn't. I don't like being in small spaces.
Me neither. I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, I'm like I like being in open spaces, like a buffalo.
That makes sense.
The animal.
The Bills. Just a month before Apollo 11 astronauts Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, these are the guys that went, right? And Michael Collins left their colleague Michael Collins aboard Spaceship Columbia and walked on the moon. The old carpenter asked me if I really believed it happened. I said, sure, I saw it on television. He disagreed. He said that he didn't believe it for a minute that them television fellers could make things look real that weren't. Back then I thought he was on crank. He was a crank. During my 8 years in Washington, I saw some things on TV that made me wonder if he wasn't ahead of his time. Bill Clinton said that.
That's Bill Clinton, former president of these great United States of America.
Former Epstein Island visitor.
Not only former Epstein Island visitor, gold status platinum member of the Epstein Island Fuck Club.
Oh, my God.
Bill Clinton.
Billy C. That's interesting.
Silly Willy.
That's interesting because the kicker is, I guess TV was still relatively new at that point. So, like, maybe people who were running TV and broadcast could do some sketchy stuff, maybe to hide. I mean, not sketchy stuff, but, like, could maybe...
It was black and white.
Yeah.
No HD.
Yeah.
Also, this was probably, I'm making this up right now. This was like around the time of like MK Ultra, I think, like mind control, like CIA stuff with like acid.
Okay.
You're going to tell me you don't think it's possible that they had a large, massive scale dosing of the United States public and they just got everyone to trip balls while this was going on TV? Maybe every single person in America was tripping on acid and they're just like, nah, we went to space. So like, yeah, man, space.
That's interesting. There were 6 crewed landings between, 69 and 72. We got there July 16, 1969. All crewed missions to the moon were conducted by the Apollo program, with the last departing the lunar surface in December of 72. After Luna 24 and 76, there were no soft landings on the moon. Wait, so somebody went in 2013? What's Change 3?
Not America.
No, not America.
Yeah, and then India, I think, went a couple years ago, right?
Really?
Yeah. Wasn't Nixon the president during all of these also?
Yes.
Yeah, Nixon.
Sketchball Malone.
The most trustworthy president in America, right? Wrong. People actually don't like Richard Nixon. They say he did bad things.
You know who we do trust?
Donald?
Donnie fucking T, baby.
Donnie T. Trust him to a T.
Change 3 achieved lunar orbit on December 6, 2013, and landed on the 14th of December, becoming the first spacecraft to soft land on the moon since the Soviets' Luna 24 in 1976.
That's
so
unmanned.
we didn't go for 37 years, or nobody went for 37 years.
That's
a lot.
unmanned. That's unmanned, I think.
This is just like some tech thing?
That's just like a lunar. Isn't that what it said?
Oh, yeah, you're right. The spacecraft was named after Change, the goddess of the moon, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so you
it was a rover.
Yeah, rove this. That's what I say.
I guess you could send a machine there.
Yeah, I could. Okay, well, first of all, maybe, probably.
Right.
But yeah, I could shoot garbage into the sky and have it hit the moon by accident if I shoot it enough times.
That's a good point.
Great. I'm sure that we've sent.
Yep, Nixon
rovers.
was there the whole time. Nixon was president 69 to 74.
Richard Nixon. You know why he got removed from office? For lying.
Ever heard of the Watergate scandal? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So people think Trump is a big liar? How about they've been lying to the political offices since the 60s. Probably since whatever Washington was in the 1770s.
No, George Washington never told a lie. That we could agree.
He never told a lie. He just had fake teeth and fake hair. And Trump's hair is real.
So you're telling me that women that have fake teeth and fake hair, they're lying to you, or they're just trying to improve their appearance for you? Okay.
That's a good
George
point.
Washington chopped down a freaking cherry tree in 1712, and he told his dad.
Shout out to GW. He was the nation's first president, but
First and last. After that, it's all been the aliens.
I don't know why people were wearing wigs back then to begin with. He probably had gray hair.
It's because they had, what was it, syphilis, I think, and syphilis makes your hair fall out.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure. Look that up. Look it up right now.
Luckily, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Syphilis? That's because I don't kiss you.
Make your hair. The frequency of hair loss is secondary syphilis ranges from 2.9% to 7%.
And ask if they all had it in England. Everyone in England has syphilis. That's why they all wore the powdered wigs.
Did George Washington have syphilis? Didn't what's his name, Ben Franklin, die from that?
Ben Franklin died because he refused to give over the secrets to Nicolas Cage of where he hid the Declaration of Independence.
Really?
Yep.
It says he didn't have it.
Yeah, but I'm
He
saying
had a venereal disease.
He did?
Yeah.
The only venereal disease I've ever had is love.
Oh, you actually had the 240,000 miles thing in the PowerPoint. 3 highly suspicious facts. Next. Since we supposedly went to the moon 240,000 miles from Earth, we have never gone more than 400 miles. Wait, what do you mean by that?
From the surface of the Earth. Ever since we went to the moon.
Oh, we've never gone that
more
far.
than 400 miles.
What have we been going 400 miles for?
Probably the space station.
Oh, yeah.
International. Also,
Shout
what's
out
up with
Houston.
that communist stuff? The International Space Station?
Please.
Give me a break.
Give me a break on that.
I want the American Space Station or I don't want nothing at all.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's going to go to the moon again, it's going to be the freaking U.S., okay?
And stop saying again if everyone's ever going to go to the moon for the first time.
You actually remember this to a T. Your last highly suspicious fact. All moon landings happened during the presidency of Richard Nixon.
Suspicious, isn't it?
That's hysterical.
Tricky Dicky.
Okay. a heartfelt gift or a hoax.
Oh, this one I love.
The Apollo 11 astronauts gave this moon rock to Dutch leader Willem Dries. It was later discovered to be petrified wood. Is that real?
Yeah.
Also, who's Willem Dries?
Willem Dries, they call him a leader. I call him a freaking Dutch hoaxster. Yeah, they gave him this piece of moon rock, and I could tell you the other side of the argument for that one is that because they gave it to like one guy who gave it to this guy who gave it to like the museum, and then in 2009 they tested it.
Right.
So it's possible, I guess technically along the way someone stole the moon rock. I don't buy it.
I never even heard of that.
A moon rock?
Moon rock in Dutch museum is just petrified wood. Wow.
The facts are starting to scare you, aren't they? Shattering
Why
your
would we come
worldview.
back from the moon and give something to a guy from the Netherlands and not keep it here in like the Smithsonian or something?
We gave a lot of countries pieces of moon.
To show that we're,
They called it like
helpful.
the something.
We're peacemakers.
Yeah.
All of this and more. In conclusion, did we go to the moon? Who knows? But as Dr. Dre once said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's fire, there's flames. I don't exactly know what that means, but...
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's fire, there's flames. Where there's flames, there's chronic. You either high or you ain't. I got no time for no games. Nuh-uh, he ain't playing. He's going to take the AK and then aim it right at your face. I'm slightly insane.
Listen to me.
Sorry.
I want to get to the bottom of this. Genuinely, Isaac Gartenberg is a funny comedian here in New York City, okay? He writes a lot of material about his Jewish upbringing and his beautiful family. Now, I want to know deep down from your heart.
Yeah.
Do you think that the U.S. has ever landed on the moon?
I don't think so.
I might agree with him.
It's just, we've never even been close again. And
it's almost like we have no interest. It was just to do it that one time.
That's not true.
Those 2-3 times.
It's not true, though, that we have no... If we had no interest, that'd be one thing. But I feel like every president, and I know Trump, I hate to say something bad about the guy, but I feel like he said like, we're going to go back to the moon by X date. It's like, well, why do we need... Where'd the technology go?
Right.
All the technology to get us to the moon is just gone. No one knows how to get there again. We did it in 1969. You didn't even really have, like, computers that... You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Elon's trying to get us to Mars, so I figured he would be able to get us to the moon. We'd be going to the moon every week with him.
Yeah, get me to the moon, and then I'll believe you're going to get me to Mars.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Mars is not even livable. I mean, nothing's livable, but Mars is like you step on it and you'll die. It's so hot.
It's like the moon, a weekend with my mother-in-law.
He's not married.
No.
All right. In conclusion, it's definitely possible that we did not go, and I think it's honestly funny. And I know there's a lot of people out there who genuinely believe we did not go because, especially in the '60s, a lot of stuff could be made up, or I guess what's that word? Fictionalized to look real to the American public. Because let's be honest. Bunch of freaking 50s and 60s housewives. If you were a guy, maybe you were a freaking construction worker or a post worker or whatever else. The American public in the 69s and middle America are probably pretty stupid, okay? They're not much smarter today. So, yeah, I said it. And I'm from New Jersey. Actually, we both are. But my point is, if my mother in 1969 just saw a news break and it's some guy with an American flag on his helmet standing on the moon, she's going to be like, holy crap, we're on the moon, and not even going to look anything further into it. So it's definitely possible that the government could have factionated this whole hoax to believe that we actually went there.
Well, here's the thing, is that it's also more, first of all, if you trust the government, I think you're just an idiot in general. So, like,
100%.
this is like the first thing, you know what I mean? So, like, and also, it's way more fun to just be like, nah, we didn't go.
It is fun. That's
way more fun.
That's basically the reason I started this podcast. It's so fun to just play devil's advocate and go against anything else.
But it got a little further at my job.
What do you mean?
Well, because, like, I was just, like, the moon landing never happened guy at work, which is, first of all, like, the best guy to be at, like, an office job. I was there for, like, 4 years. Like, yeah, nah, I just, like, slip it in wherever. Be like, yeah, like, I got you that report also. Like, we never went to the moon. Which was great. It was awesome. I was like, hey,
That's a funny sketch idea.
What?
Just like a guy working in an office, and he's really good at his job. He's always helping people out, but he'll just slip in the most absurd conspiracies at any point that he can. We should. We'll do it with Billy Hockman. Kid's a sketch king.
Yeah.
Shout out Billy Hockman.
I dropped a sketch with him that bombed completely. It was awesome, though. It was funny and fun.
Wait, did you post that?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
Instagram didn't show it to anybody. The blind giraffe.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I was good at my job. It was a pretty easy job, but I was good at it. so like I'd spend most of the day walking around the office because like I could do my job real quick.
Okay.
Everyone hated me for that I was too good. But
what do you mean real quick? Was there like more work to do?
no, it was just whenever work came in, I would do it. Besides that, I'd be walking around, kind of patrolling.
I did a bunch of walking around at my office job.
Yeah, I was so good at walking.
I was so good at just going to the kitchen every 5
But then
minutes.
I was like, I have to like elevate this thing. So then I was like, I'm gonna start doing some research on flat Earth, and I tried really, really hard to become a flat Earth guy.
You became a diehard Kyrie Irving fan?
Nah, I think he doesn't like Jews. Or didn't he have that Jewish thing?
Oh yeah, he is. He's on that Kanye wave.
Ugh. But I tried really hard to be like the flat Earth guy too, and I was like right there. I almost did it. Like I'd come in and be like, "Hey, like my boss went on a trip and be like, oh, cool, you didn't like run into like the ice wall or something." Like, yeah, oh, how'd you go that far from America? You know, stuff like that.
You didn't fall off the end?
Yeah, you didn't fall off the edge. Well, there's the ice wall. You can't really get over the ice wall.
Okay.
The problem is, right around that time, this documentary dropped on Netflix about them proving the Earth was flat, and there's like it was leading up to this whole big thing where they're like, we're gonna shoot this laser across the water, and like if it lines up perfectly here, this will prove that the Earth is flat. And then the end of the video, they're like, or the end of the documentary, it's like it doesn't work. Their experiment, they're like, yeah, but the Earth's still flat, right? Like it's like this doesn't prove it. Just because we said this would prove it doesn't mean it's like we just got to find another way to prove it.
That's what's so funny about the real tinfoil hat people, because they'll just go to the ends of the earth to prove that, no pun intended, to prove that it's probably not real, right? Because some stuff is just so much more obvious than other stuff. Like other than the moon landing and the flat Earth, is there any other topics you like to bring to the table? I had freaking my buddy Shank on here. You know Shank.
Yeah.
He came with like 4 different things. The guy's completely off his rocker.
Yeah.
But it's not always necessarily a conspiracy based thing. Like I mean, like in terms of whatever, JFK, moon landing, 9/11, like the big babies. Like there's also like I'm a big unsolved one, like murders, disappearances, you know, people who were maybe whistleblowers or trying to out the government for certain things, and then they're just dead one day. Sketchy. But if you look at my YouTube algo, like all my stuff is just unsolved disappearances and like podcasts. So is there anything else that like you've actually like, especially with like Netflix documentaries? I feel like Netflix makes a documentary about everything now that was unsolved. So I feel like
this is unrelated, but you know what I've been watching lately is videos of people getting arrested for impersonating officers.
Police officers?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty funny, actually.
It's so funny because
on YouTube?
On YouTube, dude. Yeah, it's like I watch like a lot of like police body cam stuff.
Really?
And like murder documentaries on YouTube, but like the police impersonators are hysterical because in my mind I'm like, these people spent their whole day, like this last guy I watched, he's a construction worker.
Okay.
He spends a whole day working, busting his ass, like hard work. And then he's like, I'm done with work. What am I going to do? I'm going to pretend to have another job.
Really?
I'm like, that's so funny.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, people get arrested for it all
What's
the time.
the point? Just to like...
Well, they like just like...
fuck with people?
Well, like they drive fast. They have like sirens on their car. They have lights in their car. They pull people over.
Okay.
There's like those type of people that they're just like kind of doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you got to fill out the paperwork if you're going to make this whole thing real, you know? Like, come on, do the whole thing.
But they're actually pulling people over? Because they have real paperwork to actually give like a ticket? They're going to get caught in 5 seconds.
No, they just like talk to them and shit.
Really?
Usually. Yeah. And then there's like people that'll like, there's this one guy that's like they want to be a police officer, but like they can't be. So he's like doing like traffic for like a funeral procession.
Right.
And he's like on his motorcycle wearing all this stuff that makes him look like an officer. He has these lights. He's directing traffic. He's speeding. He's going crazy.
Wow.
And then like the cops are like, yo, you're not an officer.
That's going to be like a huge fine in prison, like...
Yeah, I think you get...
Because you're fucking with the law. Like, you're actually pretending... It's not like you're pretending to be a barista at Starbucks. Like, you can, like, arrest people, technically.
There's this, like, 20-year-old kid. He got arrested for it. And he was, like, literally writing up a ticket for somebody. Then the officer came up to him. He's like, what unit are you with? And he, like, tells him this whole thing. Like, just lies. And then,
is he... Is that just a sociopath? Like, how did he come up with the whole backstory?
It's crazy. I don't know. These are like, crazy people.
And this is, like, here in the U.S.?
Yeah, in America. In other countries, you're allowed to just pretend to be a police officer.
No, you're not.
Bro, I'm convinced other countries aren't, like, real.
Isaac's a perfect guest for this podcast.
Like they exist, but it's like that. Like,
America's the greatest.
yeah, like what you like? All right, you live in like you have a job in Canada for what reason? You live in Canada.
90% of Canada is desolate. There's nothing there.
Yeah,
it's literally Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver, and
and then you could be a polar
grizzly
bear
bears.
if you want.
Yeah, a couple polar bears and the maple leaves, and that's it.
Yeah,
the
so-
entire western side of the country is just flatlands.
Yeah,
And mountains. I never heard of that. That you have to be the biggest psychopath to actually think you could like.
yeah,
It's so risky. That's like the
Yeah.
riskiest thing I could think of.
it's so stupid.
Pretending to be a cop.
Yeah. Also, everyone hates cops now, so you're just like, why don't you pretend to be a stripper? Or
Oh,
something?
tell me
I don't
about
know.
it. I was just with a friend who shall remain nameless, who got a ticket for jumping the turnstile the other night.
No.
And it's just a classic, fat, out of shape cop just standing over next to the turnstile, like waiting for people to jump so he can be like, come over. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? I mean, there's someone actively shooting up down on the platform. Why don't you head down there, huh? Not to get on my police.
Because the mayor's got their arms tied.
Blue Lives Matter.
Don't get me started. Also, that's the opposite of what you just said.
Well, that's my point. I was joking.
Oh,
But
sorry,
seriously,
I'm not very fast.
listen to me. What else do you like to talk about in terms of these topics? You got anything else?
What else do you like to talk about as a crazy?
Or we could just take a left turn and start bullshitting about comedy. Let's name the top 5 hacks of NYC. Go ahead.
All right, Tom Zappia,
Number 1, baby.
number 1. I don't want to do that.
Me neither.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
No. What else is on your mind? Anything?
Dude, I'm so tired. I don't drink, and but like once in a while I'll still like go out and stuff. And after shows last night, I went out with some people.
Yeah. I just realized you don't even. It's gonna be so much better though not drinking though.
Yeah, but I'm just exhausted.
Well, also you've been sick for like 2 weeks.
I've been sick for like the whole year, but the last
poor
week
baby.
was rough. Yeah.
Kid was in. Oh, I actually want to talk to you about Tejas. Kid just got back from the comedy capital of the world, Austin, Texas. Ever heard of it? No, because your boy's about to move there.
No, you're not.
Listen to me.
You do not move to Austin.
Do not move. Do not.
Do not.
Listen to me. No, I do want to do a little comedy talk.
Okay.
I'm very intrigued because we're like 4 years into the Austin boom. I still haven't been there.
I just went. It was
I
cool.
talked to a couple people who were like, it's awesome. I talked to people who were like, eh. Ronnie just went like a month or two ago.
Yeah, he liked Houston better.
Tell me about the scene, because you were like fully immersed in the scene, right? You're up and down 6th Street kind of for the most part?
Yeah, but honestly, my trip got screwed over a bit.
With Easter and stuff?
Easter, first of all, Easter really screwed me. Shows
But what
got
days of the week
canceled.
were you there?
We got there late Thursday, so we're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
That's a pretty good chunk. That's like the week. But like
Yeah,
my point is it like what they say, where it's like there's a million clubs, the crowds are packed, like everyone's like there's comics
I think if
everywhere.
you're like, I think it's like, if you're like a top comedian,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like the best place. It's like probably really great.
Yeah,
right?
it's like what LA was like 6 years, or what New York and LA were.
I mean, it's like New York, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're like a headliner, you could go up 1,000,000 times a night.
Okay.
And then there's like a lot of like super new comics. It felt like.
Do you think though, if you're a run of the mill, you're not popping off yet, whatever, you're like whatever, you're not getting as much stage time as you should in New York, would you get more in Austin as just a regular guy?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like the people that there were some people that I thought were like super cool and super funny. It seems like they're getting up a lot, but it seems like they're getting up probably about the same as New York, but they're hustling like really hard to get that amount of stage time.
And it's a fairly small, like
it's
where the
pretty
actual
small.
comedy is like
Yeah,
segregated right to like the down main
that's what
area,
it seems
right?
like. Honestly, I wasn't.
Well, did you go to any clubs?
Yeah, of course.
So, but they were like good shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like my point is like what I'm asking is like the crowds are like cultivated to be there because they think they're going to see Rogan or Kill Tony, or they actually like good comedy audiences like New York. Or you couldn't tell really because you weren't there that long.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get a sense of the whole thing in 4 days.
But is there as many comics as people are saying? Like it's just comics everywhere.
Dude, but that's what I'm saying is like there's a lot of top comics and a lot of like brand new
Open
people,
micers, yeah.
but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of like middle
tier.
people.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which like
yeah.
New York has a lot of everything.
In New York, yeah, exactly. New York
Yeah.
has the whole gamut of everything.
But there's like people are moving there now. Like we have like a bunch of people that are not a bunch, but I know people that are moving there.
Me too. Yeah, I know a couple people who are in
So, like, that'll
Shane's
probably,
crew
like,
moved
fill
there,
in.
and then yeah, I think.
Yeah. But it was cool. Like it was like good people, like funny people. It just I mean I would never live there.
Is the and is 6th Street and like the sketch area as like I heard it's like terrible, like in terms of just sketchiness and homeless and whatever else.
Yeah, but you
Like-
live in New York, so like what do you know?
Well, that's what I've said. I've heard that Austin's even worse, but the thing is, it's just delegated to that one street. New York, you can run into wherever.
It's worse because there's less people walking around.
Okay.
At
So it
least during
seems
the day.
worse.
So it's like there's like the ratio of like crazy people to regular people is
Right.
probably higher. But like in New York, there's just as many. It's just a million more people. So
yeah,
you're
that's the
not
thing.
getting-
Everything is less than New York, no matter
Yeah.
where you are. I guess that makes sense.
But it's cool. Like you should go check it out.
I'm definitely going to go at the end of the year for like a couple weeks, maybe a week or two.
Couple weeks.
I wanted to go for like 2 weeks just so I could see how often,
I'll run
how much I
Hoboken
could
those
get
weeks
up.
for you.
Yeah, thanks. Show's not going to exist by then.
Hey.
Listen here, guys. Basically, this is a PSA for Ronnie Lordi to get us our fucking tapes. And I know you guys watching want that too. So hit this Ginzo up, all right, at Barbershop Comedy Show on Instagram and tell him to give you your tapes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That's interesting though. I've heard good things about Austin. And
I just think I was annoyed because like a bunch of our stuff got canceled, but it was cool. Like we got up, I met good people. I would go back. I probably just planned it a little differently, but I would go back, but not for a while. I don't,
And did you hang outside of the mothership at all? Is it like a crazy like just like people everywhere?
Yeah, I hung outside.
And it's like pet mobbed and stuff.
Well, I went there to like try and like do some stuff, but
Yeah.
I didn't get on, obviously.
Interesting.
Like the
That
Kill
club's
Tony
wild.
scene is insane.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, I guess
It was crazy.
I've actually, and not that I watch Kill Tony regularly, I watch it here and there, but like I guess like minimum 200 signups every single Monday.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's just like people think they can.
But most of the people don't actually do stand up. Was the sense I got. Like I was, because there's some people that I know from like around that were there.
Right.
Like people I met in Florida that were there, and I was just asking like, yo, are these people like comedians? Like, what's the? Because it's like truly insane people.
Yeah.
And they're like, we only see them here. We never see them at shows. We never see them at mics.
Of course, because
anything. So, yeah.
it's
like
been-
American Idol.
Exactly. That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. It's basically like a reality where like, because you can get some traction. Like you could probably be doing it for 2 days and go up and have a good set and then just get a couple thousand followers out of it. So it's like a win basically.
Yeah.
But you have to just go and sign up every, I was watching a guy who like signed up like 30 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And finally got on and then crushed.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I've signed up every single week for 30 weeks in a row. And he didn't even live in Austin. He would drive out every Monday to sign up.
Yeah.
And he finally got on after like 30. So it's like, yeah, the fact that it's a literal bucket mic, it's like American Idol. It's like a complete crapshoot. But
Yeah.
I guess it can make you a little
But yeah,
bit of a
I know people that have done it, and yeah, it seems cool.
Word.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to discuss?
Anything you want to discuss?
You don't even want to know.
I kind of do.
Listen to me. If you had to name the greatest, I actually want to get this from your perspective because Isaac is kind of, this is like a hack, like a classic, like whatever question I'm going to ask you about comedy. But Isaac is a young gun. He's sober at, what are you, 27?
27 and a half.
Okay, young.
27.
Young to be sober. And you've been sober for like, what, 3 years, 2 years?
Actually, today is 28 months, no alcohol.
Holy crap. Congratulations. 28 months. That is 2 years,
2 years,
and 4
4
months.
months, yeah.
Wow.
I got the
congrats.
notification this morning.
That's incredible. Do you have the notification set for like every month?
It's whatever the app just decides when you need to be reminded how long you
Interesting.
haven't drank.
And you think this has obviously been better for you in terms of success and whatnot? What do you think? You think?
Yeah, it's better that I don't drink.
I only asked because I met Isaac after he got sober, essentially. Like,
Is that true? Yeah, it must be
closely
true.
after he got
Yeah.
sober, so I never knew the wild party Isaac. And the guys, first off, the guys telling me about stories where he'd swimming rivers in college at like 3 a.m. So I'm like,
forgot I
this
told you
guy,
that.
I know for a fact this guy was a wild boy. Because I had a couple buddies like you in college where they would just Monday through Sunday black out and just do
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
It was awesome.
And I'm like, Isaac was definitely that guy. And then the kicker is he gets into comedy where it's like, for the most part, especially your early years, you keep doing that wild stuff because you're around booze all the time and you're doing comedy or whatever. And this kid goes sober, and it's been nothing but great for him because he's a success.
I'm a success.
I actually want to. You're the first.
I'm a
you're
successful
success.
account manager.
You're the first sober person I've had on.
Wow.
Well, I guess Jared Schwartz like barely drinks, but that kid says he does ecstasy like every night. I don't know when he's telling the truth or not, but Isaac is my first sober guest, and I'm not sober, but I'm not like a big party guy or drinker. But I want to know. I want you to tell me why you had to do this.
You want me to tell you why I had to stop drinking?
Is it just because you would get too crazy?
I had to stop drinking because every time I drank, I would black out.
But you think you or at least at the time, you were incapable of drinking in moderation? Like you can't just drink 3 beers and that's it?
What's the point of that?
To get just chill, nice little buzz or whatever?
That's crazy.
That's great. See, most people are like you, though, are like that, though. And I'm
What?
just like, they just drink to get fucked up.
Well, what's the point of it otherwise?
Just to let loose, like feel like good, maybe be more talkative, and just like have a little buzz. I don't want to be blacked out, like smashing into walls and swimming rivers at 3 a.m. and then waking up with regrets.
You can't regret what you don't remember.
That's actually a great point.
Although the last night I like really partied, me and my friend, we just got so drunk and then we just started wrestling each other in my living room. And like he just had like his whole head was cut up.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask you that's the last night you ever got banged up?
I drank again after that, but that was the last night I got like.
Do you remember the
wasted.
last night you ever sipped some alcohol?
Yeah.
And did you get really banged up that night or no?
No, because I knew I was.
You knew you were gonna quit?
But I was like, yeah, it was like I was at like a family like party basically, and I was like, I can't. It was like an engagement party. I'm like, I'm not gonna like not drink right now,
right?
Because I'm like,
but it was already in your head, like I'm gonna quit though tomorrow. Like this is gonna be my last time ever. Or you just the next day came and you're like, I'm just never doing it again.
I wanted to quit like a day or two before that, but I was like, if I'm not drinking at this event, it's gonna be weird,
right?
And
really,
and it'll be like I'm making this about me.
Okay.
So I drank there,
right?
And then I never drank again.
That is fascinating. I've always wanted to ask people the last day they knew that they.
Yeah.
If they knew they were gonna, or if like they planned it out because they had a rock bottom, or they just randomly decided one day.
No, I decided 2 years before that I was going to stop drinking. So I stopped drinking when I was 25, but when I was 23, I was like, I need to stop drinking, and it just took me like 2 years.
Damn.
On my 23rd birthday, I was like, I need to quit.
Crap. And when did you start drinking? Like high school or after high school?
Yeah. I drank in high school.
Like 18?
Before that, for sure.
Interesting.
The first time I ever drank, I was on vacation, and I didn't even know what alcohol was. I just knew that every kid I was with wanted to get alcohol.
Right.
So I was like, so I also want to get it. And we found like, because it was like a resort, and we found there was like one like beer tap, like at like one like dining hall area, restaurant, whatever, that like no one was near it, and you could just get beer out of it.
Oh, and you were a kid?
I was a kid. I was I don't know how old I
And
was.
no one was monitoring it?
No one was monitoring
Ooh,
it.
that's the best.
We would take a glass, fill it halfway with beer, and then fill the rest with soda because we thought then people would just think we're drinking soda.
Of course.
And so
they
we were
would.
just downing.
That I never even mixed that. That probably tastes weird too. Beer mixed with soda.
Best taste in the world.
Really?
It was like beer and Coca-Cola.
Wait, this is a vacation you said?
Yeah, I was like with my family.
Like in like like an all inclusive or something, like
yeah,
a beach
exactly.
resort.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild to just have beer out where like kids can. That's so true. Honestly,
I don't think anyone knew it was there. We would just go up to it, fill it halfway with beer, run, fill the rest with soda, and then just like down it at like lunch.
That sounds so fun.
I must have been like 13 or 14. I don't know how old I was.
Yeah, I remember that too. I was never like oh, I can't wait to drink, but like once you get like, I guess like I was like 15 or 16, and my buddy had like my one buddy lived in like a friggin' mansion, and he would just be like, he would just have people over randomly like in high school and just come over whatever. But his dad would just buy him like a 30 of like Bud Light or Natty Light, something simple, whatever. And that's like the first time I drank, but I had like no interest in like. Because it was like Natty License, so I was like, oh, this tastes awful. So I had no interest in like continuing to drink. But that was the thing. Everyone would just play beer pong and like I don't even think they genuinely liked it. They just did it because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
like, drink beer in high school, I guess.
Well, we drank Malibu rum in a girl's basement, and that delicious. That was in high school.
Delicious,
so good,
dude. My buddy, first of all, blackout drunk. Shout out to Tony. He's a good kid. This guy. When I got to college, because I didn't really do anything crazy till I got to college, like smoke weed or anything, whatever else.
Same.
I got to college, and this dude. So we're on a budget, obviously. So he would come every single Thursday or Friday, whenever we would start drinking. He would go to, he'd go back home. And I don't know if he had a hookup there or a sibling or something that would buy him. He would come back with every weekend with a. Or before the week started, he would go home. He lived like a half hour from school. Come back. Handle of Majorska. Do you know what Majorska is?
No, it sounds.
It's the cheapest
terrible.
vodka on the market in the world.
Yeah,
it's a plastic handle.
Oh, that's what we had in college.
It's like drinking. It tastes like rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, we had Nikolai, same thing.
Yeah, he would come back with a handle of that and a 30 of Natty Light. Always Natty Light because it's the cheapest too, as well. Beer option, pretty much. And we would literally get banged up off of that. And then my buddy, who was like a notch above him in drinking, would always bring back a handle of Captain. So we would always drink Captain and Coke. That's why all of college I just drank rum and Coke.
Yeah.
So I like barely drink rum now because it's gross. But and this kid would buy, you'd start partying on Thursday. By Sunday, the handle of Majorska was gone. Yeah.
That's nice that he made it last 4 days.
It's disgusting. Well, he could drink like a fish.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who's like, he could black out multiple nights in a row. I couldn't do that. I've only blacked out a handful of times, but if I got really banged up, next day completely off. I have to take the next day off.
No, we were like freshman year I drank a lot. Sophomore year,
chilled.
No. It was like I didn't know I could drink more than I did freshman year.
Oh my gosh.
Because we all, like me and all my friends, lived on the same floor of the dorm that year. Sophomore year, the second year, because
we all met each other on the same floor freshman year. So the following year, we all got a suite together.
Dude, okay, so I like accidentally got on their floor, but I also had been their friend from freshman year, and then we all were on the same floor together.
So you'd always bounce over to each other.
Dude, like pregame, we would pregame easily like 10 drinks each just to pregame at least. Then we go out and have at least another. Like we were just drinking all.
And that was house party situation, right? Because you guys didn't have fake IDs, right?
Yeah, we did, bro.
Oh, did you?
Dude, you want to hear this? Okay, so
Binghamton. This is Binghamton, actually.
Hey, don't say anything. But yeah, I mean, you could drink
Alpha Sigma Sigma fraternity.
Okay, I mean,
Chi Beta Theta.
Yeah, senior year of high school, I went to Binghamton to check it out.
Yeah,
I used like my stepbrother's fake, like no problem. You could do
like at a liquor store nearby.
No, at a bar.
Okay.
And then going into freshman year, I got a fake ID. But I wanted it to be my birthday, but I didn't need it till I got to college. And my birthday's in the summer, so I wanted it to say like I was 21 once I already got to school.
Right.
So I ordered a fake ID with a 20-year-old age on it that would turn 21 when I turned 18.
So it was more realistic, and also you probably looked.
And I didn't want to
younger.
forget the birth date and have.
Sure.
But then they probably thought I messed up, and so they gave me one that came 21 years old and turned 22 like a month after I got it. So I was just like all nervous.
That's not bad either, though. It
wasn't that bad, but I was always nervous about it. Mm-hmm. But then senior year, one of my friends, we had like there were like some younger girls we were friends with in college. They came over to pregame, and it was like
couple smokies.
Who cares? I was drunk. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
But they came over to pregame with us, and we're gonna go to the bar, and one of the girls didn't have a fake, so she took my roommate's fake, and he's a hairy man.
I can relate.
Yeah, and she like beard in the picture, everything she used it, she got in, no problem. Like they don't care.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Just because that's the thing with college towns, it's either like they have to be super strict or not care because they know they're gonna make a killing.
Yeah.
But then there's so many risky college stories with like, oh, this person was in a bar underage, like, and then something happens to them, and it's like your family could sue the crap out of the bar.
Well, for one, I got denied one time from a bar.
Why do you think so? Because they gave a crap and they didn't want to get in trouble?
Bro, I was already 21. I used my real ID. They're like, someone else already used this ID tonight. I'm like, no one used this ID. This is my face. Like, nah, we saw it. You can't come in.
That's weird.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't give my ID to anybody, and they wouldn't let me in.
Was Binghamton a house party situation too, or was it mostly you just go to the bars?
It was both.
Yeah, like we had like 2 bars, and they would screw you if you had fakes. So it was house parties until you turned 21.
Rutgers.
For the most part. No, I went to Seton Hall, but
I didn't know.
We partied at Rutgers a little bit too. Like all my friends went to Rutgers.
I would go to Rutgers.
Rutgers is a classic, like major mainstream
house
fraternity party school. So they just have frat row. So it's like fun to house party there. When you house party at a private school like mine, it's a nightmare because you're going into like a literal neighborhood where the neighbor is like a family with kids, and the second it gets too crazy, they call the cops and it gets shut down after like an hour. So it was a nightmare. So people would like go into Hoboken or go into the city,
similar in Binghamton,
or go to Rutgers. Yeah,
like my fraternity, like we were across the street. We were like by like all like our parties always got shut down, but they hated us. But yeah, there's house parties, there's like frat parties, but like the bars, like from freshman year, is crazy. And it used to be Friday night, Saturday night, after the bars closed, they would shut down the street, and everyone would just party on the street.
And it's legal. You could drink.
I don't think you could drink, but everyone would be like hanging out there still. Like you're already wasted. Like
right.
So it's just a street. And like sophomore, junior, senior year, they cracked down on it. After the bars closed, you have to leave the street. But it was awesome freshman year.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it still happens a little bit after that. But yeah, it was. Dude, that was a fun time.
Yeah, college. I was not a big college guy, but there was a streak where it was kind of fun.
I realized the other day I could have maybe done work in school also.
I did enough to get by.
I had good grades until.
I mean, my degree, a current 11-year-old could probably get right now. So,
nice.
We'll wrap up soon, but I do, if you don't mind reliving this, I want you to tell me your craziest blackout story, if you remember one, or you can retell the River story, which is fascinating to me if he's being honest with the way he's telling it.
Oh, the River story about the other kid?
I think it was when you were pledging a fraternity.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Or just your craziest story in general.
Well, my craziest story I don't want to say.
Okay.
I'll tell you after, but Yeah, the river surf. Okay, yeah.
Because I was relating to this when you were telling me, because my buddy, I was living with him while he was rushing.
Yeah.
And I'd obviously like be home. I'd either be playing basketball and I'd go home. I'd be doing work, and he would get home at like 3 a.m. and he'd look horrible. And I'm like, "What'd you have to do tonight?" And he would just tell me the grossest stuff. I'm like, "That's insane."
I loved it though. I did like it.
It sounds like
It was
kind of
fun.
like it's hell, but that's like the point. So it's fun after.
I got in like crazy shape. I was doing the most push-ups
and then you could
ever.
just fuck with the next kids coming up.
Yeah, and I was so good at it.
could
I
see
was
that.
so good at it. I remember once I was like friends with them, but like I told one of the kids, I was like, yeah, I feel like for the next pledge class, like I got to go harder. Like I feel like I wasn't hard enough on you guys. He goes, no, we were terrified every time you walked in the basement.
You really? That's so funny.
I can tell you other stuff after, but
go ahead with the running with the
river. Yeah, so basically, like I was getting my because every weekend you have to stay at the house all weekend. Like you can't leave, you can't go out.
You gotta like work the parties and stuff, right? Or you have to get them anything they want and stuff?
Yeah, you do whatever they say, but like you can't sit on furniture. Like we're all like sleeping in one room. Like if you're lucky, you'll get the bed like one for like a couple hours that night. Like it was hard. Like we weren't technically like a recognized fraternity. They got kicked off like in 2009. So like we were like just like underground for a long time.
We had one of those.
So like, it was hard. But
and
like,
this is for the whole semester, right? For the fall semester, and then you get in the spring?
Well, I joined late. So this was my second semester sophomore year.
Okay.
And it was like a shorter thing. It was a whole long story, but like it was like a shorter thing. So like they like crammed it all into a shorter period. But yeah, so like we were just getting our shit rocked. Like I don't want to say everything, I guess, but like it was hard. I can tell you that. But it was hard. It was crazy. And I was just like, they're like, they're like, all right, you guys are done for the night. Like we're gonna go out and party, just get some sleep. Like, all right, that's cool. Like they went out, they come back from the bars, they're always like, all right, get to the basement. I'm like, I can't, bro. And we're all of us, like we're just standing there, like, we're not going down. We're not going to the basement. One by one, they get the weakest kid first. Like one by one, everyone ends up going to the basement except for me. I'm like, I'm stubborn. I'm like, I'm not going down there. You told me I'm not doing it. I need to sleep. Like I'm done. And I'm like, all right, I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm out. I leave the house. They send someone to come get me, bring me back. They're like, all right, everyone else upstairs, Isaac, basement.
But why'd you go back with the guy that they sent?
Because he's my friend. He's like, he was pledging with me. He's like, just come back. He's like, come, don't leave. Like, we're almost done. Like, it's stupid. Like, you like it. Come back. I'm like, all right. I come back. They're like, all right, how do we? They're like, good. Everyone else, you're good. Go to sleep, Isaac, basement. Like, how do we? You quit on us. I'm like, yeah. They're like, how do we redeem ourselves in this fraternity? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, yes, you do. What do you do? I'm like, water? They're like, yeah, water. You're going to the river.
It's like a bad 80s movie.
Dude, for real. But I was scared. I walk upstairs, like, all right, we're going to the river with Isaac. And then one other kid, Leslie, his pledge was Leslie.
He wasn't,
Chad.
I asked you this, he wasn't Asian, right?
He was Asian.
Because we had a kid in a fraternity at my school who was Asian named Leslie. Didn't we go over this?
No.
Imagine he transferred.
No.
You're younger than me, though.
Oh, yeah.
So it wouldn't have been.
He was younger than me.
Funny, though.
Leslie Chow. So he, because of the hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, can I come to the river too, guys? Like, because he's been asking for a while, he's like, to go to the river.
Why?
He's like, if I cross the river, will I be a legend forever? And everyone's like, yeah, you'll be a legend. Everyone, and he is. He honestly is.
He is. He's a legend.
He's a legend. So me, Leslie, some of the brothers, we go to the river, and
what time is it?
Oh, dude, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Like it's late. It's early.
It's insanity.
So we walk to the river, and they're just like making us like mess around. I go under. It was freezing. Like they're go underwater, do this, do that, whatever.
This is a river traveling downstream, though.
This is, I believe, the Susquehanna River.
So at any moment you could just go. Couldn't you just drown?
But we weren't too far out. We were like kind of on the bank still, so like it wasn't bad.
Okay.
There wasn't like they were making us go under.
You got shoes on?
I don't remember. Probably.
Okay, go ahead.
Probably had my boots on. Actually, no, I don't remember about the shoes. But they're making us go in the river, whatever. And then Leslie's like, all right, I want to cross the river. And they're like, all right, go cross the river. And I mean, like, I can't even explain. Like, he just starts swimming across the river, and then he gets to the middle of it. It's like a pretty wide river. Like, it's a legit river. He gets to the middle of it. He's, like, perfectly illuminated by the moonlight, like, shining right down on him. He gets to the middle. All of a sudden, the current just takes him. He just goes traveling down the river.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's just sucked down. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Where did he go? And everyone... And, like, when you're out there, you have to be quiet because we're not supposed to be there. We don't want to get in trouble. Like,
is there houses nearby?
His house is right there.
Oh, okay.
People start screaming, Leslie, where are you? He's like, you hear nothing. Like, oh my God. And then people are like I probably wouldn't be in trouble because I was forced to be there too. But everyone's like, yo, I'm going to go to jail. Like, this is fucked. Like, we have to find him. Like, what do we do?
Because the river probably travels all the way down the state or whatever, right?
Yeah. We're like, this
river.
guy's gone.
Yeah.
So one of the other guys, like, he's like running to like go find him, like walking to find him. Then like someone's like, I'm going to cross the river. I'm going to go look for him. And this guy's in like good shape. He's swimming across the river. He gets halfway through. Then he starts screaming. He's like, I'm gonna drown. Like, I can't make it. Like, somehow he makes it across the river. He gets to the other side. He's like, I don't see him. He's gone. He's not here. He's like, Leslie, Leslie, Leslie. All of a sudden, we just hear he goes, guys, I'm over here.
He had gotten out?
Dude, yeah, he had gotten pulled down the river. His leg, luckily, got caught in between like a branch and a rock, and like he was just being like slammed by the water.
Oh, wow.
But he like managed to free himself, climb out of the river, and walk back up just on the other side. And like he ended up being fine. But it was one of the craziest things. Everyone thought they were going to jail. Like we were probably there for like a solid hour, like looking for him.
Well, it's not even jail. Yeah, you would have had to try to find him first and hope he didn't drown, basically.
Yeah. Like they all thought they were like fucked. They thought they were going to jail.
Yeah,
They
that's
were like
horrifying.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't even mess with that. I would be bitched out of a fraternity so easily because I would have been like, I'm not taking any of these kids to the river.
But they didn't make him cross the river. He was like begging to cross the river.
He might have some other issues going
And then
on.
we would get blackout drunk all the time and just like go like fuck around in the river for fun.
That's insane. But all you had to do was just go right offshore and just go underwater for a little while.
Like what I
You
did?
didn't have to cross, right?
No, they didn't make me cross.
Because they were preoccupied with him by then.
Well, they weren't going to make him either. He really wanted to cross the river.
So they just fucked with you a little bit, like going to a river in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I mean, it was freezing and like,
of
you know,
course.
have to hold your breath underwater and all this stuff. But yeah, it wasn't that bad what I did in
Shit's
the river,
wild.
but
Yeah, fraternity stuff is wild, dude. I remember my buddy had to, did they ever make you eat or drink anything disgusting? Huh?
what?
Did they ever make you eat or drink anything disgusting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what that meant. Yeah, I remember my buddy told me they had to do, and I was just like, it's pretty insane. But he would have to, every single night, they'd have to run the entire town, because we were in like a small town. They'd have to run the entire town. It was like 5 miles every single night.
No, everything we did except for the river and one other thing was inside the house because we couldn't get in trouble.
Oh, yeah, duh, obviously.
Especially
Well,
'cause
that's the
you're
thing. Yeah, we had one that got kicked off campus, and then we had one that got, I guess they got reinstated while, like they were there years before, and then they got reinstated while we were there.
My
Which I don't know
cousin-
what determines if you can get
My
reinstated
cousin was
or
in
not.
my fraternity, same one, same school, 1989.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I do fantasy football with them now, like all the older guys, and I think his son is there now. I think he's trying to bring it back for real.
Oh, it's like a legend thing? Aren't you like was it like if your relative went there?
Well, I'm not because it was off campus.
Oh,
so it was fake, but it was fun.
That's fun though. Yeah, college is fun.
Yeah.
With that, maybe we'll wrap up.
Okay.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you believe we landed on the moon or not,
I forgot that we started with that.
me too. Whether you believe it or not, I want you as a fan, so please subscribe to my YouTube where the full episodes will be. Thank you, Isaac Gartenberg, for joining me. You want to plug anything? Your Instagram? Kid runs a couple hot shows.
Yeah, I my Instagram is Isaac G Comedy. Isaac G Comedy. At the Village Idiot, I run shows. They're
Village
fun.
Idiot Comedy Show at the Juke Bar.
Juke Bar.
East Village.
And sometimes Mayfly. Also open Mayfly, but Juke Bar too. And Mayfly.
Hell yeah. Thanks for joining me. This has been YOOHOO, guys. Thank you so much. Peace.
That was fun.